Hey, welcome to the guide. It's another update from Will and Yo. And another interesting week with a lot happening. And first and foremost, we got free stuff that we're going to give away. And we're going to do this a little bit differently. No secret word this week.
Uh-oh. But I was like hunting for the secret word. I don't even know where they're going to come up.
Yeah. Actually, this time we're going to have people start looking through their Bibles. Ooh, how do you like that?
That's tricky.
The movie The Way from Emilio Estevez recently came out on DVD, and we have some copies courtesy of Grace Hill Media and ARC Entertainment to give away. And so as I was thinking about The Way, I started thinking, how many verses in the Bible talk about the way?
Only a lot.
Okay, so we want to see how many you can come up with. So visit GameandMovieGuide.com and click on the article The Way and leave a comment about how many verses you can think of that talk about the way.
Now on to the games that we are anticipating very soon.
Yes.
Mass Effect 3 is a big one.
Oh man, I'm so excited for Mass Effect 3. Coming out March 6th, and recently had a chance to try out the multiplayer portion of the game.
Now this is a big thing because this is the first Mass Effect with the multiplayer.
Yes, first time they've ever done multiplayer, and a lot of fans were kind of nervous about that because, you know, you've played Mass Effect.
Right,
It's a single-player, story-driven game.
Exactly.
How are you going to do multiplayer on that without it feeling like a cheap, tacked-on mode that they just put on so that people could play online? And my time with the multiplayer demo suggests that it's going to be much more than that. You remember Horde 2.0 from Gears of War 3?
Oh, do I?
Okay, think that type of multiplayer, 4-player co-op, where you try to defeat wave after wave of enemies.
Are you establishing base points? And,
no, but you do earn experience that can upgrade your abilities. So instead of establishing like base points and gear, you upgrade your character to be able to do more, all right? Which is very cool. And you can buy extra gear to use in multiplayer, but it's all for your character. So you modify your character as you earn experience and credits, and then you continue to play through the various waves. Now, the big thing about this is, and this wasn't in the demo, but they're talking about it, the multiplayer is going to have an effect on the single-player game. How well you do in these battles in multiplayer will affect how the single-player game comes out. You can still finish the single-player without multiplayer.
Right.
And get a good ending. But playing multiplayer will help you in the single-player game. I'm excited for multiplayer Mass Effect. Never thought I'd say that.
Yeah, that's definitely something I'm looking forward to as well. And moving on, the next game that I'll give you a little sneak peek of is I'm working with Metal Gear Solid 3D right now.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I've been using my 3DS so much that I had to figure out where it was to play this game. It took me a couple days to find it.
That you lost your 3DS. You didn't know where it was. Where'd you find it?
In a bag with school books.
Well, I'm glad you found it. Now that you've found it, what do you think of Snake Eater on the 3DS?
Well, I've just started getting into the campaign a little bit, and it's kind of tricky. I spent 20 minutes trying to find a backpack in a tree when I first parachuted out of a plane because it just drops you off in the jungle, and it's kind of hard to get used to the view angles and moving around the screen. The forest, it looks good, but it's so lush that you can't really make
things out.
Yeah,
it's pretty tough. Do you think the 3D effect enhances or hinders the gameplay?
I think right now it just hinders it a little bit.
Because I went back and forth when I did the demo, which is available for the 3DS. There are times where I absolutely had to have it on so I could see where the enemies are and figure out how they were spaced in order to figure out how to take them out or sneak by stealthily. And there's other times where you're kind of like crawling through the grass where it was just too much and I had to turn it off.
Yeah, that's what I'm experiencing right now is I'm in so much shrubbery that it's just popping everywhere and I can't really make out what's going on. But I'm excited. It seems like a very kind of Tom Clancy-esque game.
Moving on to SSX. They just recently released a new demo on Xbox Live. Had a chance to try that out. Big feature, they basically have like an autolog now for SSX. Remember autolog from Need for Speed?
Need for Speed, yeah.
Yeah. Same type of concept where your friends, you can race against their times and their ghosts. You can see their ghosts.
Oh, okay.
Even if they're not online. It'll record all of your times as you do speed runs and whatnot, or your high scores for tricks and whatnot. And then when you go on and play, even if your friend's not there, you can try and beat their time, which I have to admit is very satisfying. Even if your friend isn't there, to think, yes, I totally beat Will's score, and then you type in a little message, I beat your score, I'm a better snowboarder, and then you leave that for you to discover when you turn it on, I like this idea of how they're doing that for SSX.
Does it give you the option of having the ghost on or off? Because I would feel sometimes if you couldn't beat the ghost, maybe a little bit bad about myself.
It's pretty tense. In the demo, I didn't see an option for that. The ghosts were just there. I don't know if you'll have that in the full game. Good question, though. We'll have to find out when SSX comes out here very, very soon. And something special for people who enjoy static paper.
Yeah, the next edition of Static Paper is going to have a special look into the New 52 comic series and its newfound connection with sexual activity.
Yeah, the superheroes are getting it on. Yeah. And we're going to ask why and whether that's a reflection of what's happening in our culture. I mean, these superheroes just trying to be more relatable because that's what everybody else is doing? Or are we trying to live up to this idealized idea when it comes to sexual relationships that's portrayed in pop culture? So we explore some of that, and you can get a sneak preview of that article right now exclusively at The Guide. So get a sneak peek of what's going to be happening in the next Static Paper, GameandMovieGuide.com.
And also, while you're online, our poll of the week.
Yeah, for the PlayStation Vita. Very interesting results for our poll so far. Okay, so we asked people, PlayStation Vita is coming out, will you get one? What do you think people's response were?
I'm kind of leaning towards no.
Why would you lean that direction?
Because it looks like a glorified PSP, and there's already been so many versions of a PSP. I'm sure you already have one if you're at all a PlayStation gamer. The only thing that's bringing to the table with this one is the AT&T 3G network,
right?
Which I'm sure you'll have to pay extra subscription for. So I don't know.
Well, you're not too far off. According to our poll, the majority of people said no, they are not going to get one. Minority said yes, they would get some, and then a few people, just a few, said they're going to wait and see how things play out. So I thought that was very interesting. It's already kind of struggling in Japan. Sony says they're not worried about that because they're releasing it worldwide here. And but if this poll's any indication, because it's very scientific, this is a very scientific poll.
Obviously, yeah.
So we got the inside scoop. Nobody wants one. No one wants the PS Vita. Sorry, Sony. It's right here.
Exclusive.
We got it. It's over. Sorry. We'll see how the PlayStation Vita does as it launches and if they can avoid some of the mistakes that the 3DS made. So, I think that's going to wrap things up, huh?
I think so, finally,
you got to play some Snake Eater on your 3DS that you finally found.
I'm going to find my way through the jungle.
I got to prepare for Mass Effect 3, and you got to go read more at GameandMovieGuide.com or stay up to date with our Facebook.
Yeah, join in discussions, Facebook.com/Game and Movie Guide.
You can also find us on Google Plus or read more from our friends over at HollywoodJesus.com.
Wow.